TikTok originally thought I was a black lesbian for a very long time, and it put me in discourses that I was happy to listen, and I quickly learned I did not need to be a part of. The opening line, maybe the opening first half of a sentence, is what most people are going to see if they see it at all. So if I get a video that got 1 million views, only 300,000 people made it to the second sentence. What am I trying to say? Am I adding to what is actually happening in the discourse? Does my white ass need to say it? These are three things that I need to have.
Wait a second, Alex. You mean, can we run that last one back?
Let me fix it.
All right, class is in session this week with a very special guest. He is a Philly-based comedian who has amassed millions of followers with his hilarious, no bullshit, downright manic rants that always manage to capture exactly how we are feeling. You might know him as the co-host of Crashing Out with Phil DeFranco, or the Too Many Tabs podcast with his brilliant wife, Mrs. Pearlmania, or just as that yelling guy from the internet. Please welcome to the pod, Alex Pearlman.
Yay! Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Oh, that was the best intro I've ever had for any podcast.
Really?
Yeah, usually I get it. Typically, I go on podcasts that are like some guy I've done stand up with for 20 years who's like, "Will you come on my show?" And they're like, "You guys might remember this next jerk off." And like that's usually how I'm brought in. Or they're like, "This next person is one of the great minds." I'm like, "Please stop! No, I'm just a jerk off. I want the middle." And this is perfect. You plugged everything. I don't need to do this anymore. So that was great. Check out crashingouttour.com. I'm out of here. No, thank you. No, I'm so excited to be here.
I mean,
you're
so
so
happy
excited.
to have you.
So excited to have you here, Alex.
Yeah.
Before I knew you and Fran were friends, I was such a big fan of your work. And I didn't know that this. Fran was telling us about your pivot, right? So pivoting is a big thing we talk about here on the podcast.
Yes.
You know, everyone's career is not linear. It's not in a straight line. And yours is a perfect example of that. You started as a stand-up. You're still a stand-up. But you walked away from it for a little bit and got a 9 to 5. And then TikTok slowly pulled you back to comedy.
It's so fucked up. It's so fucked. Well, it's one of those things. You know what I say is it's you know when you're trying to put together a puzzle, like a jigsaw puzzle, and you get stuck and no puzzle piece seems to, and you get up and you walk away, and then you come back with your coffee and you go, "Oh, it goes right there." And then you finish the whole thing in like 30 minutes. That was kind of how it felt. So in 2018, I opened up for, you guys know Tom Green?
Yeah.
He was on MTV.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I never assume anybody knows anybody because of the way niches work. That's why it's a good assumption. Also for the audience out there, they may not know he's a Canadian.
They also might be 12.
Yeah, they might be 12. And mentally, a lot of people are.
Well,
but yeah, he was a Canadian comedian, very early internet guy. He did some stand up. I opened for him. It was great. When it was over, I was sitting there with my little hosting check of $50 a show. So I had $250 burning a hole in my pocket. I went to my day job on Monday and it was benefits day. And they were going over the benefits, my health care, my 401k, the gym membership, all these little things that added up. And I was sitting there and I was exhausted. And I knew I wasn't gonna be good at work that day. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm risking all of this for this? And then I just was like, I went home, I told my wife, I was like, listen, people I met who were starting to make it, I was like, they seem kind of miserable, like being on the road. I like being home with my wife in my bed. Like once you put a bed on credit, why am I sleeping on someone else's couch? That was my view. The first time, every bed I ever had before that, it was a hand-me-down or it was like in the bed. We paid for a pillow top, king size, paid too much for it. So when I went up to New York to go sleep on a futon in like a 5-person apartment, I said, I don't like this. This isn't me.
No.
Exactly. I was like 28.
Yeah.
I was 28 and it was like
That's
a basement
so
apartment. I was like, this is gross. And so I finally just came out. I was like, listen, she had some dreams, about getting her degree and a specific career role for her. I said, I'm going to put my head down. I'll get this 9 to 5 is fine. We'll grind at this. And when I'm 65, maybe I'll do the Rodney Dangerfield thing.
Yeah.
That's what Rodney did. He had kids and then he stopped doing stand up. So I thought maybe that's it. And then when they moved me back office, I was like, oh, okay, well, I can at least make a little video. And I yelled one day and then got like a couple 100,000 followers.
Okay, well,
rapidly.
That is a perfect segue because, you have really built this incredible audience across multiple platforms. You have millions of followers, 3.6 million on TikTok, 1.4 million on Instagram, over 300,000 between your 2 YouTube channels, and almost 300,000 on Facebook. How did you start? So you said you were
when
in...
you say all that, when you say all that,
I like numbers.
I know. I have to mentally not look at them. I have to not look at them.
So when did you know? But when did you know? Oh, this could be a real thing, because you said you were working a job and class. Take notes here, because a lot of people want to quit their day job and pursue content creation, and you went the other way. But was there a moment where you were like, oh damn, I can't keep the day job and do this? This could actually, present me the life that I really want.
So I had three moments. The first one was I started having trouble at work. So they, listen, they were very clear. They were very nice people. Well, no, I had trouble at work where basically I started getting written up. And I was like, oh, it was very like, I was getting written up for shit that nobody else getting written up for. And I was like, you can't get me for the vids, but you can get me for something else.
Yeah.
I see.
So I sat down with my wife, but also I did get recognized. I started getting recognized regularly. And then I was still smoking at the time. I was standing outside the building I worked at, and it was a very small company, and they had rented a floor inside of a building off of a major state road. And I was standing outside smoking a cigarette, and I saw this car like coming off the road and like parking. There's a hotel next door, and I'm just thinking they're a crazy person staying at the hotel. And they pulled right up to where I was standing and got out. They're like, I love your videos. And I was like, you spotted me from the light? Oh no. So that was a big one. And then when I ran out of PTO, I realized I was getting all these opportunities. So I smoothed over everything at work. They were cool eventually. And there was a day when it was like June, and they were like, yeah, they want you to come to this thing and they want to give you money for it. And I was like, I can't. I have work that day. And I looked at like the contract of what that day would have cost versus I was like, I'm losing money going to work.
Math ain't
And that was the moment. And so I sat back with my wife, and then we wrote out a business plan before that. And we decided to build out the podcast. I did podcasting before. I did stand up. I started doing my first podcast was in 2008. So like, and we didn't even know, we didn't know that podcast was actually hyper successful back then because nobody had numbers. I did a podcast with a buddy of mine. We had 5,000 weekly listeners, and we didn't know that was a big deal because nobody told us what a number was.
Right.
And so we're like, this is our, there was no sponsorships. There's nothing.
I love hearing that, because I think the thing that a lot of aspiring creators forget is that it's a long haul. They're looking for instant success. They're looking for instant virality. And most of the people who we all now know as household names have had long, winding careers where they've tried a bunch of things and they didn't work. Or they pivoted. And so that's the thread that we always like pulling.
And they got to learn from a lot of failure. And that's the thing, is you got to learn from those moments. Yeah. So for me, I mean, I worked with, I went through stand-up. I had a lot of my contemporaries in the Philadelphia scene have gone on to become very big and do well. And it wasn't a direction I wanted to go in. And it was, I just had a different view of how I want to treat the material, how I want to approach the stage. It still weirds out friends of mine because I still every now and then drop in at open mics, and I still drop in at not bringer shows, but like showcases. And they're like, you didn't tell anybody? Don't you want me in front of your audience? I was like, I don't want to be in front of my audience. Yes. I need to make sure I'm still good. And I need to know that because like I know what my audience will laugh at. Right, I know what they will do. And I know how much grace they'll give me.
Yes.
Because like I've heard the pop, like there was I got to open for Patton Oswalt. Let me pick up that name real fast.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. But when they said my name, they go, you might know this next guy from yelling at you at your phone, Alex Pearlman. Before I wasn't even on the stage and they were screaming.
Wow.
And that was a guest spot. It was a late show guest spot. And I was like, oh. And then my next thought is like, I hope I can keep up with it. And then I proceeded to have the best set of my entire life. And to this day, I'm mad I don't have a tape. But like it was like that. That's a difference. And so I still like going to put myself through the nightmare of like going at an 11 o'clock showcase show.
Because that's when you find out if you're actually funny. Class, you better take out your pen and paper and start taking notes. Because Alex is dropping a lot of gems here.
Well, because I worked. That's the thing, is because I've worked. All three of us here, we've all worked. We've all had jobs. And I think there's a lot of people think that if I got a certain amount of followers, then I've got to work. Actually, the work is just different. The work's different. Like I got 2 podcasts. I'm going on tour, crashingouttour.com to 12 different cities. That's a different form of work. I'm a parent this time, so that's a different form of work. There's all these different things. But going back to my wife's and my business plan, when we built out the pod, we rolled out a Patreon. And when the Patreon hit the minimum wage in Pennsylvania for a month of minimum wage. Then I said, okay, now I can take the risk.
Wow.
I got
Because then I knew I had at
on
least
my face.
Because then I knew I had a base. I knew I had a base.
Yeah.
Because listen, I first blew up on TikTok. They were trying to take that shit away every weekend.
I know.
And no money.
And the whole time, I was like, "You got to have an Instagram." I'm like, "Mark Zuckerberg's evil," and she was like, "They're all evil, baby."
You know what?
So yeah,
the methodical way that you are talking about your career, I think, to Fran's point, is something that like we try to share with our class. Like I love that you were going to come back to stand up. You're like, when I'm 65, it'll be there. I have to step away from it to handle life and handle my family right now. And you kept chipping away at it, and then you found the niche, the yell, right? Online, you're known as Pearlmania, and when you watch your content, you know why. You're known for these epic, high octane rants where you call out Republican hypocrisy, and you explain tariffs and Ukraine and private equity and all that shit. It's so funny, it's so cathartic. Right, because we're screaming inside. Thank you for screaming for us, right? But it's also super informative. And as writers ourselves, Fran and I, we're curious about your process. Do you go in before you hit record and have an idea of what you're going to talk about, or is it just kind of like off the top of the dome?
So it's a little layered. Sometimes it's just raw. Sometimes I just like fuck this motherfucker, and but then I learned over time you can't open with that many curse words. Like they will because the algorithm. I mean, the big part of it is algorithm.
I love your captions. You always change that's very clever. Yeah.
That started off as algorithm. That was ban evasion. That was the first one that really popped for me. I kept having videos get taken down by TikTok. I kept getting account strikes. And the first one I ever did it for was the Mexican pizza rant, where I'm screaming about Mexican pizzas and Pizza Hut, KFC, Taco Bell, which now actually legit private equity just bought Pizza Hut. So it's like weird full circle for me. And there's like the minimum wage in Pennsylvania and all these different things in there. And I was like, this is a very funny rant. And I think I nailed that in one or two. And I nailed it. My wife didn't even see that one. I nailed it. And I was heading to a stand-up show because I was starting to get back into stand-up now because like things were happening. And I was like, all right, so I nailed this video. And I'm looking at it. I'm watching it through. And I'm like, man, I cursed too much on this one. Because I don't think about how much I curse. But I'm watching it back and I was reading the captions on TikTok. I'm like, and then I started thinking about it. I was like, I wonder what their moderator is. I know it's not a person because
it's AI.
It's AI. Yeah. And so, but I'm like, but what is the AI reading? And so back then in 23 late 22, early 23, I was like, I assumed that we were actually teaching the AI how to read and understand our accents by correcting the captions. So I went in and I changed, like, it tastes like shit. I changed it to delicious. This thing that I started just changing. And also the other thing I discovered is I'd had a video that popped real big about, I think it was CVS. I was bitching about CVS, but CVS had just done a major advertising with TikTok. And I watched TikTok kill my video. They didn't take it down. They killed it.
Yeah,
TikTok has a heater. They have a heater button. They've told us about this before, a heat button. And if they have a heat button, that means they have a chill button. And they chilled the fucking amount. You can tell. Francesca, you've had it. You guys
1000%.
You see a video start to take off, and you go, "Oh, baby."
Yeah.
Oh,
and again, I'm gonna point to the class and say, notice that Alex is talking about if something does well, he's looking at it and saying, why did this do well?
Yes.
What can I replicate? And then he's applying
I'm doing it
that
afterwards. And I'm doing it afterwards.
Yes.
Because my wife and I talk about this all the time. There's a very famous quote from an art teacher that went to Immaculata College, which was a nun at Immaculata College. You can't create art and analyze at the same time. You cannot be creative and analyze at the same time. You can do both. You just can't do both at the same time. And it's actually one of the things that fucked me up when I tried to do the pivot to YouTube. But I'll
we're gonna talk about that too.
I know. We'll get to that. Yes. But what I'll say though is the ban evasion part on that then became a sticking point. And that became a thing that I kind of got known for. And I realized part of it after I started doing it, I realized, I'm ripping off Colbert's The Word.
Oh.
If you ever remember the Colbert Report, he would do a thing where he's talking and then these captions would pop up here. And there was a secondary tag. So I could start to add in secondary tags on some of these things. And it also then added a rewatchability.
I have a series like that called Fransplaining, where I play something and then I create my own captions. So again, this is... my God, I knew that this was going to be an incredible interview, but like when I tell you my writer brain, my content creator brain is going right now because you're validating so many of the things that I do in my own work, and I encourage people
you
to
validated a lot of the things that I was doing actually when just by following me back. Many, or even seen that you were following me on I don't remember what platform it was.
On TikTok.
On TikTok, yeah, because I've seen your work off and on over the last decade plus. I've always seen you kind of out there and on the edge. And when you were talking about the difference of, I was talking to a friend about this very recently. There was so like when looking at Kill Tony and why Kill Tony exists and why there's no lib left equivalent.
Yes,
because there were. In the late 2000s, early 2010s, there were so many internet shows, and the goal of the internet shows was to get a TV show, to get a movie contract, and now that shit's gone. Versus Kill Tony and these Manosphere podcasts, they never were aiming for television. They eventually got picked up and scooped up by Netflix, but they were always trying to say, no, our thing over here is better, and to the side. And so when I was listening and reading and some of the things that you've written over the years about being an early internet creator, going the mainstream, and then coming back, I'm like, no, she's who everybody should be listening to. Francesca.
Oh, thank you.
Right there, full endorsement right now. Full endorsement. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about like your writing process versus like, I'm interested like how you write for stand up and how you do your content creation. Like you talked about like, it's kind of a mix before you hit record, but is there bleed? Is there crossover between like your persona online?
And do you test things online that then go to stage and vice versa?
No. So I test things. So there's times where I've made stuff. So let me tell you how I make a video. So I'll make a rant. Let's say I'm going to do something. Typically what I'll do is I will sit down and I'll think, and what I think about the most is, what am I trying to say? Am I adding to what is actually happening in the discourse? Does my white ass need to say it? These are three things that I need to have.
Wait a second, Alex. You mean, can we run that last one back?
Does my white ass need to say it? Does my white ass need to say it? Because and the thing is I think this is the thing that I think it's not just. There are so many times I've had algorithms. TikTok originally thought I was a black lesbian for a very long time, and it put me in discourses that I was happy to listen, and I quickly learned I did not need to be a part of. But as long as I stood quietly in the corner, I was allowed to.
Yeah,
you can say at the cookout,
right?
You can say at the cookout.
And but the reason why I know this is because of Mrs. Pearlmania, because of my wife. And what I do is I'll sit down and I think through those things, and I really try to concentrate. What's the opening line? What am I trying to say to open this? Because in short form video. We all get our analytics, and you can take a look at it. And after you post the video, you look at the analytics. Don't think about it before, but afterwards. And the opening line, maybe the opening first half of a sentence is what most people are going to see if they see it at all. So if I got a video that got 1 million views, 300,000 people, or actually probably even less, only 300,000 people made it to the second sentence. So I need to make sure that first sentence. So like I've been screaming at a lot of people who fight misinformation.
Yes.
By yelling at them all the time, like, do not put the bullshit first.
Don't push the misinformation.
Don't open with that fuckhead at the UFC fight saying Michelle Obama's a man. Right. Open with, there was a fuckhead at the UFC fight saying some bullshit. Now, I need to show it to you because you won't believe me. Now play it.
Yes.
You have to prime them first and get them ready. Because if I play him saying that bullshit first, all I'm doing is giving him my platform. And it's the same thing with that first sentence. So I spend a lot of time doing that and thinking that through. The hook. And the hook is very similar to the headline of a newspaper, and that's how I view it. Then I go and I film that video. If I like it, I love it, I think it's great, awesome, I'm probably going to post it. But if my wife is home, I take it downstairs and I show it to her. And this is what I recommend to a lot of people, actually, is find somebody in your life that you love, that loves you, respects you, and understands you, and show it to them. Because oftentimes what I've had is my wife has watched a video that I made and she goes, this is very funny, I understand what you're trying to say, but you use this phrase here in the middle, and to me that sounded like you said this. I go, well, that's not what I'm trying to say. She goes, you hear that 40-year-old white man? You're trying to do that shit. And I go, you're right. And then I dial it back and I come back, and then sometimes actually in that moment, in that edit, we get something even funnier. We get something that's even better. And oftentimes the last part that she has to do for me sometimes though is straight up just, she goes, this was very good, but it wasn't silly. And she goes, you need your forehead kisses. And she gives me some forehead kisses because that's where the silly lives. And then I go back upstairs and I do it again because there's little things. If you're not smiling at the open, if it's flat, I'm screaming. Nobody wants blah, 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 the whole time.
You need somewhere to
go. You want to have ups and downs. You want to have, there's a musicality to it. There's things that you want to do. And so I try to tell everybody, you're seeing one take. It's not the first take.
Yeah.
And then there's times where I've shown her one of those videos and she's turned back to me and she goes, this is very good. It is not for short form video. This is not for the internet. They will not be able to understand this. But if you were in the room with you, they would, and you could get the feedback of the room of how to explain that. And that's for longer form stuff. And also just like, there are moments when you're in stand up, when you're in a room, the crowd is bought in. You know what the crowd has heard until that moment. They've been on a journey for 45 minutes. Now I can say that all trains are boys. Right? But because I got a joke about this, about how all trains, because I earned it.
You earned their trust.
And also at this point, we've already said so many off the wall things that if that's the thing you're going to flip out about. But if you see a TikTok, I open up and go, all trains are boys. Then the next line, people are going to be like, okay, but hold on, wait a second.
Right.
How dare you?
Yeah.
And then before you know, there's an entire discourse is there, and now Christian Divine is involved, and it just doesn't end.
Oh my God. Listen, I have so many thoughts and feelings, but again, you've really validated a lot of the things that Delon and I talk about here on the pod, because it is so important to have somebody who keeps you grounded, you can bounce ideas off of, and isn't going to blow smoke up your ass. And I think for a lot of creators, they make the mistake of relying solely on their audience or solely on other creator friends, and sometimes they'll set you up. Because they know that your fuck up is going to lead to some views and discourse. And so they're not actually telling you, yeah, you need to, don't post that. Take that down. That's not the take. That is super interesting. You also teed us up because we love games here on the pod. And so I've created a game in your honor. We've all heard of the Simpsons meme, old man yells at a cloud. So this game is called Pearlman yells at a cloud.
I love it.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a cloud, and Alex, I'm going to ask you to yell at it, and Delon is going to rate the yell on a scale of 1 to 10. So there's a lot of wiggle room, but just play. Be your most authentic self. The first cloud is the world's first trillionaire.
I'm not trying to get banned from the internet today. There's so many. He's such a problem for me. He's such an incredible problem for me because of how this man, the control that he has through not only just his money and his government contracts and the fact that he is the most expensive defense contractor in America, but also just through his political power and the fact that so many other billionaires listen to him, and that this fuck ass South African Nazi emerald mine bitch. I hate this motherfucker. I can't tell you how many. China knows what I've said in the drafts. Okay, before Larry got it, I don't cut drafts directly in TikTok anymore. I didn't mind when the Chinese had it. Once Larry Ellison started getting a hold of it, I'm like, no, he's gonna send that right to Elon. I hate this man so much. I hate everything about him. I hope he gets bit by the alpha gal tick and he can never have a steak again.
10.
I just need it. I need it. I hate him so much. No, you don't understand. His fucking AI called itself Mecha Hitler, and then he gave it anime boobs. And I'm the only person who fucking remembers that. And then the day after that, the Pentagon gave it like a multi-billion-dollar contract.
My God.
Fuck this man.
All right. I think a 10 is more than adequate. Okay.
You know what it is? It's like, here's the keel, and you're bringing in all these Larry Ellison.
But I gotta be very careful. But I gotta be very careful. That's the thing, is because I'm from the Philadelphia region. I gotta be very clear about this. I'm not from Philadelphia. I grew up right outside of Philly. My wife's from Northeast Philly. People in Northeast Philly get real mad and they're like, "What high school you went to?" Shut up. But we have a way we get heated, and sometimes when we say things, we're like, we got to make sure, because these community guidelines show up, and then before you know it, you're silenced, and you go, "What about the First Amendment? I thought it was America." And they're like, "Yeah, whatever, lib. You didn't say that shit in 2021." And I'm like, "All right, shut up." All right.
Next cloud. ChatGPT. Pearlman yells at a cloud.
That is a cloud. That is a fuck. I mean, fuck. It's driving me crazy that we are somehow redlining the AI. That like the MAGAs going Chat GPT, but the liberals and Democrats are all going Claude. Anthropic. And I think that this is going to end up. I think Chat GPT uses what's the dash? The M dash. Chat GPT uses the M dash more than Claude, and so you're starting to catch these motherfuckers, and it's just driving me crazy. But slowly, I'm seeing like nobody knows how to process anything anymore.
No,
yes,
and everyone's starting to sound, and everyone is starting to sound the same because they're letting ChatGPT write it. My poetry friends, Delon, Shamika, they're all mad to lose the M dash. Poets love the M dash, and they're like, "You can't take that shit from me."
I never saw it before this moment. I used to do an open mic with poets, and I spent every single time being like, "That didn't rhyme." That was me in the background. I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. She's like an urn. What the fuck? And then she what? You yearn for the urn. And he'd be like, no, she's like an urn. I appreciate her. That doesn't work. Mark.
All right, Delon, rate this yell at the cloud.
All right, I'm gonna give him an 8 for this one. I'm gonna give him an 8 for this one.
A more tempered yell.
It does make you feel. That makes me more old man. What are we looking at? Just social media.
Social media.
Oh God.
I love you, girl.
He said, hey, boo-boo.
Hey.
He said, you want social media?
Thank you
I'm trying to slide it. Your DM.
Thank you for paying my mortgage.
I heard that. I love this girl.
No, I think the thing is here's what I'll say is I'm trying to get more of the online, offline. That's why I'm doing stuff like the tour. But that's why I've been begging people more and more and more. That's why I miss malls.
Yes.
I want
Talk about
malls back. I want crowds of people.
Third spaces.
I want that third space all day. The social media, I think the thing that drives me crazy with social media is when social media first rolled out, social media was a way that you could show your friends offline all the cool shit you were doing. And now social media is what you talk about offline about your online life. And I don't like that. I don't. Whenever I run into friends of mine and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's this," I was like, I hate the fact. I'm actually really happy that my son's not online, right? Like we got a 2.5-year-old toddler, and we don't post about him at all. And I love that. So when I run into friends of mine, I can tell them about the baby.
Yeah,
I can tell them what we did there. Oh, we went and we saw Thomas the Tank Engine, and he was real, and his eyes moved, and it was creepy. There's like little stuff like that we can do, that we can talk about, that we don't put on social, because there was so much of my life, especially when I first started doing stand-up, and I'd post about it on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and I'd run into people I hadn't seen since high school. I'd be like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in 10 years. What have you been up to? And they'd tell me, and I'm like, well, let me tell you what I'm up to. They're like, I know, I follow you.
Yes.
And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to catching up?
Yes.
Yeah.
We just stalk each other.
Or when they're like, oh, I saw you went to, and you can't even share the story, right?
You're like, oh, yeah,
Man.
we did see that.
Yeah, I know. And that's why, I can't be too mad at social media, because I would still be sitting in a cubicle being yelled at by a 67-year-old man who did not like going to Zoom meetings. But I do think that what I'm more angry at is the algorithms. Because I think that we need to have children need to be taught what an algorithm is. And
how they're influencing us to make you think one thing, and they're putting you in a bubble. And it really is that, the go outside of it all, that like you're getting a very limited perspective online. That's not a true picture of what's actually happening in the world all the time.
Did you see that Mosery turned on Instagram? You can see, according to the AI, what they put your bubble in.
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, he did. There's a thing you can go on Reels and you can click like these. There's like, of course, to get to it, it's insane. But I did it, and I was like, okay, what is my algorithm? They're like, you like stand up, improv, and you care about human rights. And I was like, all right, fair. Okay. But then I realized how many people like don't care about human rights for them to make it a filter. Like, once I realized you have a filter for human rights, then I was like, oh, this is why nobody knows about Delaney Hall.
Yeah.
Oh, this is why nobody knows about Congo and Sudan. This is why nobody knows about this shit over here. And that's why I'm like, oh. And that's the thing I've learned.
But a good reminder that when people are like, why is no one talking about this? It's like, well, it's not necessarily that no one's talking about it. It's that you aren't getting access to it because the algorithms are prioritized certain things.
And my answer to all of them at the same time is, if you don't see anybody talking about it, then you talk about it.
You should be talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm giving Alex a 12 for this one from, hey. Yes. but also like the thing that we've been talking to you for 30 minutes, right? The thing that I'm getting to know you more as a person is like you're saying real shit, And you're saying it's also funny, like we said, and like the part of the interview, and it sinks in. It hits. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, next cloud, the World Cup.
Yeah.
I did not know that corruption came with a trophy. Because, this has been, it's been so fucking wild for so long. Like, it's been building. I'm so mad. Not only the World Cup, the Olympics, 250. Why the fuck did we have to bring Donald Trump back for all this shit? Like, this is generational, once in a lifetime level shit. And he chokes all the fucking fun out of all of it. I got friends of mine who've gone to the World Cup games. We got the World Cup games in Philly. Like, we got one of the arenas out here. There's all these different things. We got the Fan Fest is a big thing out here. I don't even want to get fucking near it. I just don't, because I know that his stupid orange hands, his bruise-covered fucking Grim Reaper fudge-sickle knuckles are deep into this shit, and it drives me insane. And, like, the thing is like, I fucked with soccer when I was a kid, but I did the same thing everybody else did, which is eventually, like, one day I just stopped doing it, and then I stopped fucking with soccer.
And you're like, I could be at the World Cup right now if I
could be at the World Cup right now. And, like, I had people call me and they offered me, they were like, yo, I can get you tickets, like, blah, blah, because they got in the groups or whatever it was. And I was like, all right. But also, yo, fuck all these algorithms pushing this shit and be like, this German guy discovered Walmart. Fuck you. You've been talking shit on America how many years? Every single fucking Scottish person is walking around. Dude, every single Scottish person is like, I found this place called Buc-ee's. Bitch, you were in our comments on TikTok asking us,
shit.
why don't you go duck another bullet at your school?
Right.
You guys don't have health care. Now you see why we got fucking Buc-ee's. We got fucking Buc-ee's.
Yes.
That's what we
and
got.
No public transit.
We got public transit. Please walk to the Meadowlands.
Wait,
walk to the Meadowlands in a kilt.
Them eating all of our food and going, oh my God, yes, that's why we're obese.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because salt and fat. You're welcome.
My buddy Satoyo, I just did his podcast, is called Fight Nerds. And he opens with hot takes. And his thing from the World Cup coming to Philly, his opening lineup his hot take was, you whites don't white right anymore. And I was like, what? And he was like, I've met Swedish people that are from Sweden now. Swedish people from America ain't shit. Your culture got destroyed. These people know how to row while laying down. I was like, what are you talking about? He just started going the whole thing. But it was. I think we had a rock playing in Philly, and they came to the Philadelphia Art Museum steps, and they're like, the Iraqis have taken over the Art Museum steps. And to me, I'm like, that should have been if Barack or Kamala was president, and the Iraqis got to take over the Rocky steps. This would be an amazing cultural moment. And right now, with Elon owning Twitter and Donald Trump in the White House and ICE agents with masks grabbing random people, I don't want to even bring it up. I don't even want to make it a big thing because I want these Iraqis to have a good time and be here, because after the fuck shit we pulled in their country for a few years, they should be able to come over here and have a good time. So that's my feeling about the World Cup. It's complicated.
And we've already seen ICE agents, detaining people as they're coming into the country to play in a game and getting racially profiled. And we knew that this was going to happen. The
Somali referee, that was fucking crazy. This shit's crazy. It's shit's crazy. And if it was any other time in America, I'd be like, hell yeah. But right now, like, I just kind of sit back. I see it happen, and I walk past. A bar has it on, but also I got a toddler, so I don't got 90 minutes or however long the fucking games are to like pay attention, because I gotta watch TT Poe.
Yeah, I'm gonna give
Korean train propaganda.
I'm gonna give you an 8 on this one too, only because, like, calm down with the sports, everybody. Cape Verde just won a draw, and I came home yesterday after work, and you would think that they won the whole World Cup. Honking and flags and screaming. I was like, wait, it was a draw? Y'all need to calm down.
Yeah.
All right, we've only got 2 more clouds left.
Okay.
Dancing robots.
We gotta shoot them fuckers. We gotta shoot them right now. No, absolutely not. You gotta shoot them motherfuckers. I have a bit about robot dogs with guns on their head, and that was a fucking bit. And then they put Pokemon Go in them, and I said, absolutely the fuck not. No, they got drones. They're talking about bringing the Walmart delivery drones to the Philly area.
They have them in Los Angeles. I hate them.
No, absolutely not.
Oh, they do.
They have eyes on them.
No, this is where, give me my tinfoil hat. They're trying to normalize the sounds of drones in the air so that way we don't start ducking. That's what this is going to be, all right? They got these flock cameras everywhere. Yo, look at me. I ordered some fucking some pirate booty, and it's being delivered. It could be a Scud. You don't know. All right,
Yeah.
that's how it's coming. I'm telling you right now.
I just want to know, why are the dancing robots trying to do black dances? You don't see them doing line dances. You don't see them,
They've said the same. People said the same shit
ballet.
about why the fuck they trying to give the AI? Why they trying to give the AI, the agentic AIs, right? The ones who are doing jobs.
Yes.
Why are you giving them personalities?
Yes.
So that way you feel like you're actually controlling something, because this is a way to try to do ethical slavery. That's the long route. We're all just doing a long route.
I said the same thing.
I probably
y'all
heard it from
want
you and stole
slaves.
it.
Y'all,
They always.
I think
well,
I
and
probably
that's
heard
how
it
y'all
from
do,
you.
Alex. That's how y'all do.
I know. And that's why I'm willing to just give it up. I heard it somewhere, and I said that's an intelligent thought.
I know I wasn't the first person to say
No,
it.
I know. Well, you know how it is when you're scrolling through the web. You see stuff, and I just log shit in the back,
Oh yeah.
and that's where I should be putting that. Like, in-laws are coming over on Saturday at 2. That's what should be back there. But instead, I'm like, actually, they're racially coding these robots.
I say the same thing. I'm like, can't remember my bank routing number, but like niche tea about some random influencer from 2012, absolutely still locked in.
Well, and that's what Too Many Tabs is about. That's what that podcast is about, because I need that shit, because my wife will tell me something. She'll be like, oh, do you hear this shit about what James Charles did? And I have to be like, actually, yes. I don't know why.
Meanwhile, Fran will be like, Delon, do you know James Charles? I'm like, who?
Exactly.
So lucky.
This
You're so
is a
lucky. I
10.
wish I lived in your world.
I
10.
think this is a 10 too. I mean, he
Shoot him
came
in the
right
head.
out,
Shoot him in the head.
right out the gate.
Why is every one of these fuckless billionaires, every single one of them, they all grew up nerds, right? They're all reading sci-fi. They all watch the Terminator movies. Every single one of them has the same moral. Don't do this.
Right.
Don't do this. And they were like, I'll do it
Let's
different.
do it anyway.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Let's do it anyway.
Let's just see what happens.
All right, next cloud. The summer's biggest dating show, Love Island.
Love
right.
Island.
My wife made me watch last season for content.
Okay.
And that was almost my reason for quitting the internet completely. She was like, we gotta watch it for the show so
it's
you
so
can talk
popular.
about it. I watched last season. We watched about half of it. We were way behind. And then like I think I opened TikTok and everything was spoiled. And I was like, good. I needed out. At a certain point. They were so last season, a lot of them were real stupid. I've heard about this season being really bad though. I've heard that they're like everybody my wife was explaining to me last night. She's like, everybody coupled up real fast, but also because they're more Gen Z and there's less like younger millennials, none of them know how to YOLO or dance like nobody's watching anymore. Like, yes, they obviously they know that they're in a box that is full of cameras. Obviously, everybody who's there knows that. But there is an idea, I think, from my generation, and I think y'all are the same generation as me. I was born in 84.
Generation.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a thing about our generation. We still remember a time where things could be
Pre-phones.
forgotten.
Yes.
Pre-phone, but just that idea of things could be forgotten or things can happen in a void and never go anywhere else.
Yes.
Now, I think that people, especially that are sub 30, and I'd say probably especially now this group that is post 2000, anyone with a 2 at the beginning of their birth year, I think that they are so hyper fixated on like how these things are and they've seen so many stories. I mean, you think about last year Love Island, they had 2 different people. 2 different people got canceled in the middle of the night, dragged out screaming, claw marks left
on Love
because
Island?
they got canceled. Yeah, because they got canceled. Like shit came out about them.
Oh yeah, but
the one girl was like super racist,
but
and then
my
the other one
theory
something else
is they do that on purpose because every season these shows have somebody who gets exposed for saying the N-word or something racist online, and then it becomes a big story, and then they kick them off the show or they don't let them on to begin with, and then the show gets praised for it. At this point, I think they're doing it on purpose. Why aren't they doing a background check?
I wouldn't doubt. Listen, I wouldn't doubt that is true because that's how PR works and that's how all these things work. But at the same exact time, I also the breadth of some of these people of the amount of information that they have online that we all do now.
They just forgot.
Like, listen, we're all everyone here, everyone on this call right now on this podcast is currently pleasantly happy that News Corp bought MySpace and then broke a server. All right? There is a picture of me wearing a fedora and a leather jacket in 2003 that I vividly remember. That was
gone.
my MySpace profile pic. I have checked everywhere. I cannot find it. Do not look.
Yo, I'm giving this a 9. I'm giving this a 9. Also because I don't watch longer. I don't watch
the show either. I think I feel like I'm the only person that's not watching the show.
Yeah.
Last cloud, JD Vance's new book, Communion: Finding My Way Back to Faith.
I have said this once, and I've said this multiple times on multiple podcasts. This is for the Pope. Pope Leo the 14th. If you excommunicate J.D. Vance, I will convert to Catholicism. I will offer you my soul right now. I know ginger souls aren't worth much. People don't believe we have one. But I'm telling you, it's a delightful, delectable soul, and you can take this directly to Catholic Christ. Right now, all you have to do is excommunicate the heretic known as J.D. Vance, if that is his real name.
Right,
Because we know it's not.
Because we know it's not.
Well, I think, especially after his spot on The View, he's really trying to prep us for a run for the presidency. He is trying to change
100%.
the narrative and be the
alternative.
You think he's just going to replace? Well,
I think.
God willing.
Listen. I think he's hoping something before 28.
Yeah,
I think he hopes he can sit behind the desk before 28.
He is
because here's the thing that drives me crazy. I should
unlikable.
not be older than the vice president. I will never respect him. I will never respect him just for that fact. You want me? I respect be older than
How old is he?
But
Wait, how old is he?
He's our age. He's 41.
Yeah.
I'm 42. So we're
older than him.
We're older than him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he's the most
that's the thing.
unlikable.
It's like, yeah, no, he's just he's so fucking evil. He's so fucking evil. But also, like, I was told evil was going to be cool and kind of sexy, and then this chud showed up. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like,
He's so dumb.
He's such a fucking dork.
He's so dumb and unlikable. And like, look, fuck Donald Trump, but like, what Donald Trump did well was that he had charisma and was doing all like the sound bites and stuff. And JD Vance is so like bumbling and not confident and like mush mouthed. He's so bad at this, and yet he's still trying to kind of rehabilitate his image ahead of, to your point, which I believe, Donald Trump exiting 6 feet under.
Well, I'll just say exiting 1600. Just to be careful, all right? They're watching everybody. But what I'm saying is...
That part.
What I'll say is, though, is a thing I heard recently is about, Susie Wild, she's in charge. She's the chief of staff of the White House. Back in January, I think January and February, JD was fucking up everywhere. He was fighting with the Pope. He called Alex Preddy and
killed
Renee
the last
Good.
Pope.
He called him domestic terrorists. Yeah, he said all sorts of crazy shit. And Susie Wild looked at him and said, "You got to tweet less." And he responded to her. And he said, "You guys get off the internet. You guys shouldn't be on the internet as much." And he responded to her by saying, Donald Trump tweets all the time. And she goes, "Yeah, but he doesn't reply." Ooh. And I was like, "Oh, bitch." Because he was in the fucking comments. He was in the JD's in the comments.
Yeah,
JD's in there being like, actually. It's like nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants it, actually.
He is very chronically online. And to your point about, him being in the comments and him doing too much, in the book, he mentions that he really regrets saying, the single cat ladies who don't have kids, that he really regrets that moment. And I'm of the mind that apology should happen in the same, space that it happened. He needs to say that publicly, not behind the pages of a book. But again, if you weren't running your mouth all the time, getting into squabbles with weirdos and randoms on the internet, you wouldn't have to be walking shit back.
No, he's such a piece of shit. And even unlikable Democrats can always get a couple points just by talking shit on him, like real easy. It's very funny. It's very funny how bad he is. And the fact that he was handpicked by Peter Thiel while he was stealing blood from a kid is like hilarious to me. Like Peter Thiel, that's the thing is JD Vance sucks so bad that now people know who Peter Thiel is. Like Peter Thiel spoke at the RNC in 2016. Peter Thiel got outed by Gawker. Peter Thiel paid Hulk Hogan to destroy Gawker. Peter Thiel been doing evil shit. He'd been Palantir, all this shit. Nobody knew who the fuck he was. And then JD Vance became vice president. Someone said, "Wait, who was his boss?"
Where the fuck did he come
because
from?
we were like, "Who is this? How the fuck did this weird Ohio loser get this fucking job?" And then someone said Peter Thiel, and then someone said, "Oh, I got to Google that." And now here we are. We're talking about secret dialogues and shit.
Yeah. Delon, rate this cloud yell.
That's a 15. That's a 15.
Yeah.
Because we are copacetic on everything JD Vance, because this not only is he a debate failure, right? But like it's the wish-wash mush mouth that you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
You're saying one thing, you're defending Trump, you're coming out here, you're saying this is how it has to be,
but he used to be very vocally anti-Trump. He was calling Trump a Nazi.
But being very condescending, but then you go on The View and then you're like, but let's have a conversation though. Let's hold hands. I'm trying to sell books,
So he's a sociopath, and what he does is that's called chameleon. Like he does a chameleon thing where he mirrors the people he's talking to. And he can do that. That's why he does very well on podcasts. And he does very well in interviews because he mirrors the interviewer. He will play exactly into what they want to hear. And he does it very, very well. That's why Joy Behar liked him and was caught off guard because she's only ever seen TV.
Him be hostile.
Yeah, he's been hostile. It's the same thing I've been thinking a lot about when Charlie Kirk got, right? Like people's reactions, right? There was a lot of people on our side who were like, Charlie Kirk was a racist. Why the fuck y'all talking about this? But as I talked to more and more people that were on more of a right tint or even an independent suburban algorithm, they only ever saw his
Christian
sermons.
Dad.
Exactly.
Wow.
And that's the thing. It's like the same thing. Like I think about that, being a content creator myself, I'm a Philly sports fan. I can't tell you how often I've been talking about Philly sports since the fucking get-go. I remember when I first started blowing up on TikTok when the Eagles lost the Super Bowl. I was posting about it and like crying on the back. Actually, it was in this very basement that I'm borrowing right now to record this. I was out there hammered, screaming because Elon had just bought Twitter and they showed Rupert Murdoch sitting next to Elon. I'm like, that's not good for the future. But the Eagles are going to win this Super Bowl. And then we lost. But it doesn't matter. Like, when I post now and I go, oh, yeah, go Birds. People are like, oh, I didn't know you're from Philly area. I didn't know you were an Eagles fan.
They only know you as one. That happens to me.
One little thing, yeah.
They're like, oh, the leopard lady. I saw you on TV. Yeah, I'm an actress.
Yeah.
I don't just...
You are the leopard lady. When I talk about the podcast, people go, oh, the leopard lady.
And I'm like, the leopard lady, but you're so right, where you get put into this one specific category and people forget that you are a multifaceted person. And I think... that's the reason why we were so excited to have you on the pod, Alex.
Thank you.
This has been such an insightful conversation. We loved learning about your creative process and your journey. There were so many gems dropped. Please tell our audience where they can find you on the internet. And also, you did a great seamless job of plugging the tour.
Thank you.
Please remind folks so that we can make sure to come out and see you when you are in our cities.
Let's do that call to action right now.
Yes.
All right. Listen, all the content creators out there, you got to get your call to action. You got to know how to fit them in seamlessly. Crashingoutour.com. That is a link to the 12 different cities that I'm going to be going to, including places like Boston, San Francisco, Chicago. Where I really need to push Atlanta. I know I need to sell tickets in Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Pittsburgh, so many others. Go to crashingoutour.com so you can find out. My apologies to Texas and Florida. We tried to make it work. We couldn't find venues down there. But I have two podcasts, the Crashing Out podcast I do with Phil DeFranco and myself, which you can find right here on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. And also Too Many Tabs, which is the feeling. You guys know when you go to Wikipedia and you look up something like World War II, and by the time it's done, you're like, how the fuck did I get the Chef Boyardee? Boom. That's the podcast. It's me and my wife, husband-wife duo sitting next to each other at a table, talking about the random different, internet wormholes we fall down and explaining them to each other and having a good time. But yeah, Crashing Out and Too Many Tabs are great pods, but crashingoutour.com, Pearlmania 500 for everything else. I gave too much information. Never give that many call to actions.
It was amazing. We will also link all of those things in the description box. Alex, thank you again so much for being a guest on our show. You were incredible.
Oh, no, I really appreciate it. No, this was validating for me. I just want to let you guys know, dude, thank you so much for reaching out. And the big thing, whenever I get to do any sort of collabs with everybody, I'm always just so fucking happy and so excited. The one thing I'll tell for anybody out there that is a newer content creator, when you get to meet other people, most of them, I want to say 98% of them, are their online persona is just is turned up to 11, and then normally they're just a 10. And Francesca, this was exactly the experience I expected it to be. You're incredible. Delon, I got you to make that noise once. I got you to make it once very early, and I'm happy and I'm proud of it because I did watch the compilation of the last episode. I'm like, I gotta get the noise. If I get it once.
Oh my god!
And to Boots Riley, stop hate watching. All right.
Come on now.
He said it, not me. My God, that was incredible. I feel like I'm going to say this every episode, but I think that might have been our best interview.
He is just one of the things I love about a lot of the people that we've had on the pod is how intelligent and like of the moment they are.
Yeah.
But also like he is so fucking funny and
He's
so
really funny.
quick and
Yeah.
informative. Like I love how the two of you just were able to go back and forth just on
Yeah.
content creation and dare I say inside baseball internet speak.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there being like, oh my God. But I'm so glad that thank you, Alex, for coming on the pod. He was fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm really excited. I feel like our conversation with him and our conversation with Olay have really laid a great foundation for how I want interviews to happen on the show. Because it's like, come on the show and talk to us about how you fixed your career. Talk to us about like what's going on in the world and how you would like to solve it or how you are solving it with the work that you're doing and like in a way that lifts the curtain and also inspires our audience. Like that just feels very much in the voice of our show.
Especially that last part there, inspiring you all. I love how you kept tossing it back to the class and saying, are you writing this down? Are y'all paying attention? Because to your point, a lot of people, are trying to be content creators or trying to figure out what creative thing can I do? What voice do I have beyond my 9 to 5? Because I want something more in my life. And the internet is the great democratizer, as we said, right? Like you can, but it takes a lot of hard work. Y'all have been doing it for a lot of years. So
I'm very much of the mind, like whatever the opposite of a gatekeeper is, that's me. I'm the doorstop that's keeping the door open. It's like, come on in here, y'all. Come on. You better get in here.
You smell like cake bacon. Come on.
Well, listen, this was a really great episode. Class, tell us in the comments what you thought about our new game with Alex Pearlman. Make sure to hit up the description box where we shared his podcast and his upcoming tour. Make sure you check him out in a city near you. Or you can email us, lemmefixapod@gmail.com with a tagline or a story that you would love for us to explore in a future episode.
And remember, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button if you like what you see, and then hit that notification button. I got the sequence wrong forever, but now we know. Subscribe and then notify. Subscribe and then notify. New episodes every Wednesday, and we also have an amazing live chat that happens.
Yes, hi, live chat.
Hi, friends. There are more and more of you. Friend was telling me that are tuning into those. I'm usually on stage when those are happening, so I can't tune as regularly.
I try to be in the chat as much as possible. We have a number of regulars. I'm thinking of Felicia.
Oh, Felicia,
Peter.
Hey girl.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people who are always there. It's such a fun hang. 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, or we'll just get you in the comments afterwards. We are always checking and engaging with you. Thanks again for hanging out with us. I'm Francesca.
I'm DeLon, and this was
Lemme.